so products are very, very important to us. There is no long-term business unless the products find a home where consumption continues. And that I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about sponsorship, but I want you to understand that sponsorship's value only resides because people use the product over a long period of time. It's like concentric circles as you build your business. At the center of those concentric circles is that you have the products that are moved as you introduce the business to people. In other words, if I come to you and I say, Susan, I'd like you to do the business, the first thing that anyone says to you is, what about the product? What are those products any good? And I will sell you products, and you'll use products because you are exploring the business. And that's one way in which products are moved into the marketplace. A lot of people get caught up in terms of sponsorship, and they can actually create a fairly good income because they're very active in terms of sponsorship. The introduction process almost dictates that products move. But if you only center on that type of activity, you're not going to create a long-term business. There's the second concentric circle that exists, is that once I introduce the products to Susan, is that Susan needs to say to herself, whether I pursue the business or not, as far as my usage of the product is concerned, that isn't important to me. Is that I like these products well enough that if I choose not to pursue the business, I'm still going to consume those products. And so as a consequence, that wholesale consumption, Susan will become a distributor. Perhaps she won't pursue the business over a long term, but she will still consume the product. The company, when they were young, they went out and they did their very first focus group, and that to see what the reaction to the products were. It was about the products. And I talked to the head of the focus group, and I said to him, what was the result? And he said, everyone said that the Nu Skin products, and he was like disappointed in this result. Everyone said the Nu Skin products were the best products out there. And I said, yeah, is there a problem with that? He says, that's just what the distributors are telling him. And I thought, he doesn't seem to understand how all this works. Is that you tell people what you know about the products. You tell them the experience that you've had. They begin to use those products, and that use confirms what they've been told. And that as a consequence of that, then consumption continues. We have an example of that in Susan. Susan talks about her story. She talks about her 12 years absence from the business. What she doesn't talk about is that she has these executives out there that have been doing the business that she hasn't really talked to for 12 years. And they continue to do the business. And the reason is that those women, and they are women, those women continue to use the product, share the product with people, and that they maintain their leadership position through that process. And that is what's provided a stable income for Susan over a very long period of time. And that is also what gives the dream portion of the business is animation. Is that people like the product and they consume the product, and it's part of their culture. And so that they use it and they share it. And women do this almost by nature. Men tend to be sales guys. But women tend to share naturally through the process of their lives. And that's what has given the foundation and the animation to Susan's business over such a long period of time of her absence. And so that you want to move products through promotion of the business. You want to explain to people, educate people about the value of the product so that they can continue to consume products. And then the next concentric circle is that you want them to share those products with people who aren't interested in the business necessarily, but would be interested in the consumption of the products. Oftentimes people stop and they only do wholesale consumption and promotional consumption. But there are more customers out there than there are potential distributors. And through the sharing of the product is that you can see that's what gives you the higher rate of consumption that creates the higher rate of income. Now, if we can blend technology into this so that we understand the true lengths of where this is going to take us, is that historically in direct sales, the penetration of the consumer market was always difficult. And the reason is that you would make the introduction to people, and that is the value and the power of direct sales, is the initial introduction to the business. That's what that makes us far more powerful than what advertising does. Advertising will take you for 30 seconds. It will try to catch your attention for 30 seconds and then turn you loose. And that you might be intrigued by what you see on television, in a television commercial, or in a magazine, or wherever you might meet advertising. But then you're turned loose, and that it might be weeks before you're in a position to buy that product, and you will have forgotten why you were interested in that product originally. The strength of direct sales has always been is that I'm going to tell you why you need to buy these products, and in that moment I can sell you that product at that moment. Now, the weakness of direct sales is the strength of conventional sales. If I am introduced to a product through television, and that I decided to buy that product, and I find myself in a store and I buy it and I like it, then the next time I'm in a store, I buy it as well, because it's convenient for me to do that. In direct sales, it becomes more difficult, because if I buy that product from a distributor, then when I'm ready to buy it again, I need to contact that distributor, or the distributor needs to contact me. And so their time has to be expended in that exchange by someone. And maybe I don't know my distributor very well, and so I'm hesitant to call them because I don't want to disturb them. And so the second sale in direct sales was always the most difficult. If you look at Avon and say, why do people do Avon? There's no money in Avon. The reason is that you have a collection of women who have made a whole industry out of making sure that second connection is made so that they can sell a stream of products to that individual. It's time intensive, it lowers their profit, and it makes it a difficult business. But what is taking place right now is that the internet and the development of internet purchasing is making for direct sales that second purchase as easy as anybody. So you don't need to find a distributor to buy that. In other words, if that distributor gives you their number and you order that product across the internet, then that person is given the credit for that. And as the company builds out that capacity and makes that more easy for the user to do it, what that will do for the distributor is it will allow them to make more money with less effort, because it makes that second purchase easier. Do you see how that works? When I talk about the advent of technology, and I talk about how it's going to change the nature of our business, that is one of the most important things, because we can then, as distributors, focus on the introduction of new products to old customers, or products to new customers, and that we don't have to focus as much in terms of the delivering of those products to individuals. And that if the company will pick up that aspect of the business through internet purchasing, then we as distributors will make more money as we invest less time. And that is one of those technological advances that I like to talk about that changes this business from peripheral to the overall economy to central. And that if you've looked in terms of the advent of internet purchasing, you know that over the last 10 years, the only bright spot in retail has been the migration onto the internet to purchase. And that has become standard. Oh, I forgot to turn off my phone. Let's see who it is. I have no idea who it is. And that migration is one of the things that will support our business at a level that is higher than what we've seen it historically, because it takes the pressure off to be the delivery man for products purchased that second time. The company has simultaneously also created programs to facilitate that. And they've done that with the Preferred Customer program and also ADR in terms of wholesale purchasing, and so they're trying to create pathways where there's the least amount of friction for continuing purchasing, and that is a tremendous asset that has been engaged by the company and will be developed by the company as time passes, and that will elevate the amount of income that's available in your business. And so, as we kind of close out the product conversation,